I greatly appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much. Like this is kind of a test for me. I want to give everybody a minute here to get on, make sure that the link is working. So give me about 30 seconds here, 60 seconds, and we'll jam. So if you're having a hard time getting on or not on, send me a message, or if you can't pull it up, shoot me a quick message on Facebook. Let me know if it's working. One thing that I'm not the best at is this technology thing in some ways. Let's see. My friends, if you're on, welcome. Give me 60 seconds here. We've got some technical difficulties. This thing's not working for some reason. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. Looks like a whole bunch of you are popping on right now and getting on. So yeah, give me like 60 seconds here. We'll get jamming on this thing. Let me see. Let's see. Apologies. Hang on here 1 second, guys. Cool. So I think it's working. Guys, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Sorry for the delay. Technology is not one of my finer suits. I'm pretty good at it in some ways, but some things like this. But anyways, thanks for all of your comments. There's a reason why I did this, because over the next 30 days, I'm going to be launching my radio show again. Those of you that know me or have known me for a couple of years know that I had a really successful AM station radio show for a couple of years. Had a lot of viewers, couple 100,000, listeners. And so I'm firing that back up. We're also working on a live streaming TV show that's going to be online. So I got a lot of media that's going to be coming down the pipe here over the next 30 days. And I wanted to do this simply because I love to engage with people. As most of you know, like Facebook is this interesting paradigm, right? So many people talk about it being this waste of time and all of this other stuff. I think it's brilliant. It's literally changed the world. It's literally changed the world. Like, no bones about it. I don't care who you are. Like, you can't look at Facebook and not realize that it has changed the way that we communicate. It's changed the way that we absorb content. It's changed the way that we connect with one another, both socially and also business. I do probably, I would say 95% close. I'd love to say 100%, but I've had a couple deals come offline off Facebook. but I do close to 100% of my business through Facebook. So a lot of people are like, Sean, you're always out here posting some of the questions. One of the questions I want to get to, Sean, why are you always on Facebook? Like, you're all over the Facebook and this and the other. The reason is because I'm building a brand. I'm building a brand, and the brand is me. I mean, plain and simple, done and done. You see guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone. These are guys that are building brands, and the brand is them. Now, we all know that Grant Cardone is the money guy. He talks about money. We know that Gary Vaynerchuk is the media guy who used to be the wine guy. Gary Vaynerchuk's like a pioneer. And so a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm following after these guys have had a lot of success and done really well. But I love the communication, and I love the format. I love shit like this. This, like, it just is a highlight of my day. This is absolutely hilarious, fun, entertaining for me, for everybody else, hopefully. And if not, you think that I'm an asshole, so be it. Chances are you're probably not on here if you think that I'm an asshole. If you are, then good for you. It's just another viewer, right? You know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's why I'm doing this. I wanted to just kind of test this out and see how it worked and get to some of your guys' questions, because I love interacting with all of you. So that's the reason that I did this. And again, I appreciate tremendously all the interaction. I'm not going to be able to cover everybody's comments, but I'm going to try and rapid fire through a whole bunch of these. So I was going to try and take like 7, 8, 10 of them and go into detail on them. And I'm like, dude, there's way too many damn comments. And obviously, like, I participate in a lot of different forums, and so I want my comment answered, you know what I mean? Even though there's a ton of other people. So I'm going to try and rapid fire through these and answer as many of them as I possibly can. So I'd love your feedback too. When we're done, when we jump off this thing, I'd love for you to write a comment on Facebook and just be like, Sean, you're an idiot. Sean, the lighting was bad. Sean, your t-shirt looks like shit. Whatever. Like, just leave your comments and tell me what you think, because I want to be able to do a show that's entertaining for you guys, but it's also educational. We got a ton of entertainment. You can find videos about cats jumping over couches and all kinds of shit on Facebook. But I want everybody to get something out of this and be fired up and be motivated and be able to find some freedom in themselves. I do a lot of personal coaching and things like that with people that help people free up from the nuances and the bullshit that we've been programmed since we were kids. So anyways, leave your comments, and I would greatly appreciate it if you did. And I do have a little surprise for everybody here at the end. So anyways, I want to jump into these questions that you guys have. So I'm going to start. So Philip McTank asked, I'm going to go with yours first, bro, because it was a great question. And I get asked this all the time. And I love this. And if you're on this and you're listening, listen to this, because this is applicable to every single one of you. His question was this: what qualifies you to be an authority and answer questions of any range, topic, or subject? Then he put in parentheses, not asking to be a smartass. Yeah, he was kind of being a smartass. Generally interested in why you are / think you are qualified. I'm going to give you a one-word answer, and this is applicable to every single one of you listening. I am an expert in certain things because I've experienced life. What the hell do I mean by that? I'll give you a perfect example. When my ex-wife and I were going to counseling, okay, I've been divorced for 4.5 years or whatever. We were going to counseling, and she found this new counselor because we kind of went through a couple different counselors that we didn't like. And when we got with this one counselor, young guy, we walk in, we sit down on the couch, do the whole thing, whatever. He's sitting in his chair across the room, the whole deal. And he's super young. He's like younger than me. And I'm looking around, and there's accolades and college and things and this and that and the other. And he kind of goes into his story. And then he asks my ex-wife, tell me what's going on. And he looks at me and he's like, okay, cool. Tell me what you think is going on. And I looked at him and I was like, have you ever been married? Like, are you married? He's like, no, I'm not married. I'm like, have you ever been married? He said, no, I've never been married. And I looked at my ex-wife and I'm like, for real? Like, we're gonna talk to this dude about marriage, about our marriage, about things that can help experienced marriage. Like, great, you got all the accolades, you've read all the books, whatever, but you haven't experienced shit. So what are you going to tell me about the pain and the frustration and the issues that we're dealing with? Because you've never dealt with them. Now, a lot of people go off and say, well, Sean, what qualifies you? Sean, you don't have a PhD, an MBA, or this or that, and the other. You're damn right I don't. But what qualifies me to talk to people about real estate and teach people about real estate and teach people and coach people about flipping houses is I flipped almost 4,000 houses. So if you've flipped more than me, then I would consider you to be an expert. But why am I an expert in real estate? Because I've done so many damn deals. But Sean, you don't have accolades, this, that, and the other. That's cool. If you want to go get marriage advice from a dude who's never been married, God bless you. Go right ahead. I choose to work with people that have actually been through real life. I choose to work with people that have experienced things that I can actually have some sort of connection with. Why am I an expert in divorce? Because I went through like the most insanely miserable 2.5 year, like literally like I wanted to end my own life. Divorce. What makes me an expert? I went through the most insane shit that any human being could probably go through mentally, psychologically, spiritually. I burned everything to the ground. What makes me an expert? That life experience. Some people might debate that with me and be like, well, you need college and you need this, you need that. I don't. Plain and simple. And if you choose to listen to the stuff that I've got to say, great. If you want to go get marriage advice from some other dude, then that's totally fine. But that's what qualifies me is life. So I'm an expert in a lot of different things because I've experienced a lot of different things. I had a 10-year marriage. What makes me an expert in marriage? I totally fucked one of them up. I experienced that. I went through that. I went down that road. I lived it. I breathed it. I was in it. I did it. Right? What makes me an expert in certain financial matters? I made multiple millions of dollars by the time I was 27 years old. I had 171 employees, and then I went bankrupt. What makes me an expert? I went through that craziness and experienced it. So my friends, think about that for a second. My girlfriend, okay, she does eyelashes. She does eyelash extensions. She's an expert. She's a master esthetician. So not only does she have the book smarts and has been to the school and done all that stuff, but she's done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of eyelash extensions. She's an expert. I don't know a damn thing about eyelash extensions. I'm not an expert. So that's what makes me an expert, is having lived through life, having done certain things that a lot of other people haven't done. So that's what makes me an expert. Bro, good question. Thank you very much for that. Okay, next question. I love this, just rapid fire going through these. Danielle Porter, she said, life after death, what's your view on that? That's like a heavy question. Like we could be here for hours and talking about that. I believe that we came from somewhere. I believe that we're here for a purpose, and I believe that we're going someplace when we die. I believe that 150%, no doubt about it. I've seen too many miracles and had too many experiences in life for me to not think that there's a God, for me to not know that there's a God. People talk all this time, all other stuff about science and this and that and the other. And I'm like, have you ever seen a human being be born? Like, have you ever watched a child come out of a woman's womb? And you want me to believe and you want me to think that there's no God? You want me to believe and think that there's not some higher power, something bigger than me? So life after death, there absolutely is a life after death. I believe that 150%. I believe that we'll be reunited with our families. I believe that we'll go and be able to spend eternity continuing to learn, continuing to grow. I mean, let me put this in perspective for you. Science is like recreating human beings, right? Like science is insane. We've yet to find the edge of the universe. We've yet to figure out truthfully how this world was even started. Science, God. I mean, let's be serious for a second, guys. Can I prove any of this to you? No. Do I believe it 150%? Absolutely. Is there a life after death? You bet your ass there is. So good question, Danielle. Thank you. Jeff Boyer, Sean, what are your thoughts on the whole gun regulation? I love guns. I'm a Second Amendment fan. This country was founded on guns. Let's be serious. This country was started with war. This country was started with killing. I mean, let's be real about this. I was just watching a special the other night. And this is really fascinating stuff. It was all about American history. And what turned the tide, a lot of people don't know this, but in 1776, we got the Revolution, the Boston Tea Party, all this other stuff, right? What changed the tide for the American patriots that were fighting the British was in 1777. What is his name? I forget his name. He was one of the leaders of the Revolution. Anyways, he started leading some of the groups of guys and some of the militias. And he made the choice to basically shift things up. And ultimately, he decided that in order to actually beat the British, they had to start taking out, basically becoming snipers and killing the platoon leaders, the sergeants, the generals, like the high-ranking officials, which up to that point in time was like a no-no in war. Nobody did that. You never touched the high brass, right? And ultimately, that's what changed the war. They completely took out all of these high-ranking officials, and it started to create mass confusion with the British, so on and so forth. Why do I share that? Because it's all about guns. Plain and simple, done and done. I am absolutely 150% a gun supporter. I believe that people should be trained on them. I can tell you that my kids, I have a 5-year-old that can tell you the difference between a center fire bullet and a rim fire bullet. I bet you most of you on here that are older, that are in their 30s or 40s or 50s, don't know the difference between a center fire bullet or a rim fire bullet. Why do I not worry about guns around my kids? Because they are shooting them all the time and they know how to properly hold them, store them, care for them, use them. So I'm a huge Second Amendment fan. What do I think about gun rights? I think that Obama is a total idiot. Plain and simple. I mean, he's just trying to make a run on guns and trying to take guns and I mean, whatever. We could talk about it all day long, but I think everybody should be entitled to be able to have as many guns as they want. Cool. So Jeff, thanks for that. Richard McCarthy, how did you come to build your online social network apart from being on a soapbox? Soapbox, right? What's the intention with it? I just told you, I'm building a brand, plain and simple, done and done. I'm building a brand and the brand is me. And I feel like a lot of people like what I have to say. A lot of people think I'm an asshole. Here's the cool part. I don't really care. I was listening to Joel Osteen this morning as I was driving the kids to school, and his whole sermon was about not caring what other people say. I mean, people aren't paying your bills. People aren't making you fit and happy and healthy. Like, that's all on you. And so why do I share the things that I share? Because it comes from me. It's my thoughts. It's my ideas. It's my passion. I know going into it, it will resonate with some people, and other people it will completely offend. And that's cool. I'm okay with that. Why do I do it? Because I want to do it. It's my truth. You know what I mean? We live in this society where this, what's politically correct. What the hell does that even mean? Like, my truth is my truth. The cool part is it's going to offend some people, and some people it's going to like. Some people are going to like it. And what am I supposed to do? Try and appease everybody? You live a completely worthless existence trying to please everybody. So why am I doing what I'm doing? This video that I posted about racism, I mean, you guys have all seen in this thread just to get on this Google Hangout, like a shit ton of people talking race and race. I'm like, guys, this isn't even the friggin' thread. But that video has had, it's almost at 2 million views, like 1.8 million views. It's been shared 53,000 times as of last night. Why? Why? Because to me, it's real, it's raw, it's relevant. There's 3 things, like I've got written on my bathroom mirror. There's 3 things that I wake up every single morning and I go to bed every single night, like striving for. It's like my mantra in life. I want to be real, I want to be raw, and I want to be relevant. Real to me is truth. Like, what's my truth? How do I feel about, this coffee cup? How do I feel about this iPhone? It doesn't matter how you feel or how the market feels or what the news says. How do I feel about this? It's my truth. Raw is the emotions behind it. As you guys can see, I'm a pretty emotional dude. Like, I get fired up and I'm whatever, but at the same time, I'm not like this crazy. I love debate. Like, this is the difference between like how a lot of people look at debate and how I look at debate. Debate is amazing. You and I can banter all we want about, is the iPhone better than the Samsung? Is it better than whatever? And then some people have no capabilities of doing that and they get all fired and they want to fight. That's just an argument. That's not a debate. But I love to debate. I love to be able to have these conversations. So the rawness for me is the emotions behind it. Why do I love my iPhone? Why is it important to me to share my messages online? And then the last piece of that is relevant. Is this relevant? Like, what's going on in the world today? This is the whole thing with racism. I'm not going into racism on this deal. Just if you want to watch that video, read through my threads, go to my YouTube channel, check out my YouTube videos, because I post a lot about that on there. But it's the same concept and the same theory that I've got. Like, I'm going to say what I want to say, but what's relevant is what's happening today. Like, what's affecting you and what's affecting me today. Taxes, regulation, amnesty, gun control, shit like that. That's relevant. So real, raw, relevant. It's how I live. That's what you can get from me. That's what you can expect from me. So, Richard, that's how I built everything, truthfully. I mean, believe it or not, I hated Facebook. My ex-wife was on Facebook for 1.5 years before I ever even set up an account. I thought Facebook was the stupidest thing on the planet. I thought it was a total waste of time. And over the last 18 months is when I really saw the vision of it. Probably 24 months is when I really saw the vision of Facebook. So I'm of the mindset, like, you can fight technology, you can fight whatever, or you can get in front of it and you can use it. And that's kind of how my MO is it's like, technology is going to keep going. Our society is going to keep getting faster and faster and faster. So instead of me just getting knocked around by whatever the new thing is, I choose to get in front of things and stay in front of them and create them the way that I want to create them. And like, that's what Facebook and social media is for me. But that's why I'm on social media. That's why I'm on Facebook. That's why I share the things that I share. And at the end of the day, I think the reason that, Richard, that my stuff has exploded the way that it has and it's gotten so much attention is because I don't really care what people think. And I mean that genuinely. I don't mean that to be an asshole, but I share what I want to share. And I know going into it, there will be people that won't agree with this message, and I'm okay with that. And a lot of people don't share a lot on social media because they don't want to share their personal life, or they don't want to share this new. And that's cool. Totally cool with that. For me, I feel like the more open I am, the more raw that I am, the more relevant I am, and the more real I am, the more attraction people have to me. And ultimately my end goal is to build a brand and to be able to have a successful radio show and TV show and different things along those lines. So that's the reason I do what I do, Richard, with social media. Evan Henderson, good question, bro. We know you know how to make money and how you do it, which is through real estate. I flip houses. But what's your retirement plan and thoughts on retirement? So I, again, go off for hours on this. I'm going to share it really quickly with you. I believe in cash flow. I wish that I understood cash flow today when I was making millions at 26, 27, because it would be a totally different game. I was a leverage game back there. I was all about building and developing and leveraging bank and loans and things like that. And I didn't buy the assets that I should have bought. But for me, my retirement plan is I want to have a huge portfolio of real estate that pays me every single month. I plant my golden goose. I build a nice little fence around the golden goose, and I let it just keep laying eggs for me. So I'm 36 years old. I've got a plan that will set me up and be done. I mean, I'm never really going to be done, but be able to have the financial capacity and the financial income by the time I'm 40 years old that I won't have to work. I just do what I do because it's fun. I mean, I play Monopoly for a living. I mean, truthfully, that's what I do. I flip houses. I play Monopoly for a living. So, you know, I don't consider what I do hard work. I mean, it is hard, but like I love what I'm doing and I have fun doing what I'm doing. So I'm never going to stop. But that's my thought on retirement is cash flow. I don't want to be working when I'm 50 years old. So that's what I'm setting up for myself, Evan, is a real estate portfolio that'll continue to pay me indefinitely. So cool part is too, is I can pass it on to my kids. That doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't dissipate. I've got term life insurance and other different life insurance policies, this, that, and the other, but that's my long-term game plan. So appreciate that, Evan. James Edward Balden. So what are your thoughts on Starbucks, the whole race thing, right? I don't know if you guys have been following that, but apparently there was this huge thing that was done. As I take a sip of my coffee from my We Wish You a Merry Christmas mug. Here's my thing with Starbucks. I don't really give a crap. Here's why. They're a company, okay? They're able to run and do and put stores and take stores out wherever the hell they want. But let's be serious. Like everybody's like, oh, well, there's a statistic that says that there's no Starbucks in Ferguson. They must hate black people. Well, there's no Starbucks in this city, and it's predominantly black. They hate black people. It's bullshit. Let's be honest, guys. I mean, they can build stores and put stores wherever the hell they want. Who am I to say that they're racist or not racist? I mean, the media is spinning your guys' brains into thinking that Starbucks is racist and this and that and the other. My dogs are like losing their crap out front. Anyways, here's my thought on it. Starbucks can do whatever the hell they want, and I don't have any bones about it. Do I think that they're a racist company? No, they're a freaking business, and they're in it to make money. There's a reason that they don't have stores there, and people will be like, oh, it's black people. It's bullshit. It's total bullshit. They're a corporation. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. You don't get to that point in the game by saying, well, this side of town, we don't like the black people. This side of town, we like the black people. Let's put one over here. Okay? It's how it works. It's what they do. It's what most corporations do. I'm going to say this, one thought process, one of my opinions on the whole race versus business versus this versus that, the whole deal. If a company doesn't want to serve you because of whatever reason, your sex, your gender, whatever it is, why would you fight to make that place serve you? If someone doesn't want to sell me an iPhone, screw you. I'll go buy an iPhone from somebody else that does want to work with me. It's like going to a car dealership. Somebody treated you like an asshole. They didn't pay you respect. The first thing people do is, it's racism. It's because I'm white, or it's because I'm black, or because of what. No, just the sales guy was a dick. So go buy a car somewhere else. There's this crazy thing with like the ACLU and all these people that are like forcing companies and forcing businesses to serve gays and lesbians. Like if the owner of that institution doesn't want to serve pancakes to gays and lesbians and doesn't like the gay lifestyle or this, that, or the other, attention gay people, go find somebody who does and go patronize their business and give them your money. Why would you like, I'm going to force you to give me pancakes, damn it. And I'm going to make sure you do it legally. That's like dumb. Why in the hell would you do that? Why don't you just not go there, not give them your money, and give your money to somebody else that actually does want your business? See what I'm saying? That to me is like common sense and simple. If somebody doesn't want my business because I'm white, cool. I'll go someplace where they do want my business. Enough said. Racism, racism, racism. It's because I'm gay. It's because I'm tall. I'm short. I'm fat. Give me a freaking break. They just don't want to give you their business. Cool. Then don't go there. Anyways, I go off forever on it, but that's my thought on the Starbucks thing and the whole racism deal and whatever. Jeffrey Scott, what does your closing line and all your post-wage war mean? I started doing that about 2 years ago, and it's just kind of stuck. And honestly, like, I've been kind of thinking about that. I'm all about, like, I wage war every single day on life. And I know that some people like just be peaceful and flow and this and that and the other. And I agree with that. But wage war for me 2 years ago, when I was kind of coming out of some darkness, 2.5 years ago, where I was coming out of some dark shit, it was a war. It was a full-blown war for me, trying to, like, get through the day and battle the thoughts and the emotions and the things like that. And that just kind of stuck and resonated with me, was waging war. And that's how it stuck for like the last 2 years. But a lot of people don't know this. I mean, 2 years ago, I was barely even on Facebook. 2.5 years ago, I wasn't posting anything other than like bad, negative shit about my ex-wife. The reason was I was still angry. I was still miserable. I was still whatever. And one of my buddies, one of my mentors, we'll get to the mentor question in a minute. He's like, dude, like, you got to shift. Like, you got to be done with that. And that was the part of my life 2.5, 3 years ago when I was like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, I want to move a different direction and go a different way. What in the hell? Hey, Katie. We got some dogs. We love dogs, but let's be serious. Like, when somebody shows up in my driveway, we live next on the mountains and the whole thing. And when somebody shows up, they rarely ever see anybody. They totally lose their shit, as you can probably hear. So that's the thing with wage war, is like, I was afraid to even post. And so what he suggested that I do, and what he recommended me doing, is actually posting the thoughts that I have each morning through my study. And that's where my morning insight came. My morning insight literally was a way for me to be able to share with the market, share with you guys my thoughts and my feelings. But more than that, it was me being able to post like positive shit. I was like so bitter and so angry and so mad from my divorce. Like, that's what consumed my life. And that's where my morning insight came, is it was almost like my journal. Like, I'd study, I'd meditate, I'd read, and then I'd post my thoughts. And it's become like my journal, basically. And I had a guy the other day, he was at the gas station here locally, a guy that I know, and he comes up to me, he's like, dude, you're never gonna believe this. So what's that? He's like, we used one of your morning insights the other day for our family home evening. Like, he has this night that he sends just with his family. He's like, we used your insight as like the topic of our family home evening, which I thought was super, super cool, super rad. But that's what the wage war thing means. Marianne Crane, Obama made a comment on mandatory voting. What's your opinion? Good hell. We could go off forever about this shit. Let's be honest. Most of you that know me know I'm not a fan of Obama. And guess what? It's not because he's black, okay? It's because he's a dumbass. Because he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's a liar. Plain and simple. Just like most other presidents. Like all the other white presidents. They're liars and dumbasses too. So it's not a race thing because I don't like Obama, my friends. Here's the thing. I want you to just think through the psychology of this for a second. These illegals that have been coming into the country. I'm all for immigration. My great-grandparents came over from Ireland. This is not an immigration conversation, but let's just look at it for 2 seconds. 10.5 million illegal aliens. We're talking amnesty. We're talking like millions and millions and millions of people that are here illegally and continue to come illegally. The reason that a lot of laws are being passed for them to be able to get driver's licenses and things like that. What do you think? Think through this for 2 seconds. What can you do with a driver's license? You can buy a gun with a driver's license. You can vote with a driver's license. So just think through the psychology. Let's allow these 15 million people. And where do most, this is not a racist comment, where do most minorities vote? They vote Democratic. They vote Democratic. So let's give all of these people, tens of millions of people, driver's licenses, this, that, and the other. Now let's make it mandatory for them to vote. Barack Obama's not a dumb guy. He might be a total jackass. The Democratic Party, the Republican Party, they're not dumb people. They're just conniving, scandalous pricks. Let's be honest. Think through that for 2 seconds. So the whole mandatory vote thing, it's just, they're not going to dump everything on you. I want you to think through this for a second. What was Adolf Hitler's first message? Before Adolf Hitler rose to power and did everything that he did with Germany. You know what Adolf Hitler's first message was to the German people? Not let's kill the Jews, not let's kill the blacks, not let's kill the homosexuals. You know what his first message was? We are better. We are better. And what did he do? He rallied millions of people behind him. We are better. And then what did he do? He just continued to work them down the path and work them down the path and work them down the path. What do you think Obama's doing? Let's let all these people come in. Let's just give them all driver's licenses. Let's do all this other stuff. Now let's make it mandatory for everyone to vote. Where do you think those 10, 15, 20 million votes are going to go? It's not hard, guys. It's not hard. That's my thought on it. The mandatory voting thing, when I heard him say that, I was just like, I was chuckling. I was laughing because I see it. I mean, I see what he's doing. I see what's happening. That's what my opinion is on that. Anyways, Dustin Slayton, how to make a new apparel business successful. I've been going through the ups and downs of it. Should I start a website to make it easier for people to buy my merchandise? Just trying to save myself headaches and unknowns. Bro, I mean, the point of contact between you and the customer and the client should not be difficult. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you're peddling, what you're selling. Make it as easy as possible. Make it direct as possible. Make it stand out as much as possible. Plain and simple, done and done. There's a bajillion companies out there that sell clothes and gear and whatever. How are you different? First of all, like, identify that question. How are you different? This goes for any of you that own a business or run a business. How are you different? If you're trying to keep the same business model with the same thing, you're no different. Nobody knows who you are. How are you different? And then once you identify how you're different, then you can identify what medians, like, for instance, this is changing the world. Let's be honest for a second. We get most of our news here. We get most of our information here. We get most of our media here. We communicate with our families mostly here, this and the other. If your business is to put billboards out on the side of the freeway or take out ads in newspapers and things along those lines, you're dead. Your business is dead. This is not only what's prevalent now, but this is the future, plain and simple. So adapt to this and you'll have a successful business. This is why you see most of my videos just like this. I shoot them with my iPhone. I could have a big, huge production company and studios and all this other stuff. I got 2 million views, almost 2 million views from a video on my iPhone that I shot in 4.5 minutes. See my point? I've got almost 13,000 additional followers from that one video. Make sense? Real, raw, relevant. Put it in a medium in a place that people can get it. Okay. Monica Walker, my question is this: are you single? No, I'm not. Thank you for the question, though. Pat Kinney, what do you think is the reason people follow you and others on Facebook when all they do is seem to ridicule these people for their beliefs? Here's the deal: everybody's a critic. Everybody's a critic. I get tons of freaking hate mail. I get tons of feedback. I had a guy send me a message the other day on Facebook, wasn't friends with him. He's just a follower. And he sent me a message and he said, that gun that you have on the front of your Facebook, you should put it in your mouth and blow the back of your head off. Whatever, dude. You know what I'm saying? Everyone will have critics. I don't care what you're selling, what you're peddling, what you're talking about. I don't care if you're talking about God, you're talking about Jesus, you're talking about water bottles, you're talking about fireplaces. I don't care. There's always going to be a critic. There's always going to be somebody that tries to tear you down. I just look right through them. Right through them. I don't give a damn about them. I know that they're there. They continue to post. They continue to say shit. Sean, I heard that. My morning insight this morning. Sean, it's like dumb. I heard that when I was 12 years old. Is that all you got? Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think people are saying stuff like that? Why do you think people hate on you? Jealousy is the sincerest form of flattery. Make sense? So ignore them. Okay. Let's see. Sean Gabbets. How can I start investing in property while my situation is one of being swamped in debt? I want to start but lack personal resources that I don't know where and how to start. I'm stuck within my own box on this. How do I break out of said box? Here's the deal. If you want to get into real estate, send me a private message. Plain and simple. I do a summit every single month in Detroit where I teach exactly how I do this. I mean, I went bankrupt 4 years ago. I filed bankruptcy. I built a multi-million-dollar empire. The market crashed. I lost over $12 million. And, okay, cool. The woe was me. I was down in my dumps. I was this, that, and the other for however long. And ultimately, I figured out some things, and I know how to do some things that don't require credit. They don't require having massive stacks of cash, so on and so forth. So if you're interested in doing that, send me a message, and I'll have a conversation with you and talk to you about the summit and the things that I'm doing with that. Josh Ferguson, what are your basic spiritual beliefs? What's your basic theology that you hold to? Dude, super good question. I could go on and on and on and on about this forever. I love Matthew chapter 5. Like, the Sermon on the Mount for me is he nailed it. I mean, we got tons and tons and tons of pages of books before and after the Sermon on the Mount, the whole thing, but he nailed it. He nailed it. Sermon on the Mount. I mean, when you look at like the 10 commandments, I really only think there's one commandment that to me makes all the other 10 commandments true. And if you follow the one commandment, you can't break any of the other 10. And my commandment is just don't be an asshole. I know it sounds really funny. It sounds really light. And Sean, Jesus, and there's scriptures and follow. I could go on. I could share tons of scriptures with you all day long. I know them very well. I served a 2-year mission for my church. I know the doctrine well of the Bible, of the Book of Mormon, of the Quran. I've read all of these books. I've made it a point of study for 15 years to study religion and to study spirituality. But I'm far less religious now than I used to be. I'm far more spiritual. For a lot of years, I kind of fit in the box, into the mold of going to church and doing this and doing that. And because I did all of these things, Jesus loved me and I was going straight to heaven. And I realized, like, there's a lot of people that go to church every single Sunday that are just assholes. They're just not good people. And it's not that they're bad people. It's that they haven't connected with themselves and they don't know who they are and how they fit into the grand scheme of things. And ultimately, they have not communed with the Almighty. Plain and simple. That's my basic spiritual belief. Don't be an asshole. I talk to God every single day. I pray multiple times a day. I read the scriptures. I read the Bible. I meditate multiple times a day, every single day. We came from somewhere. There's something way bigger than us out there. And I believe that God is, I envision my idea of this life being pain and punishment and frustration and anger. I used to live like that, like, oh my gosh, I'm a sinner and I'm going to die and I'm going to burn in hell and I'm just never going to get there. And I lived with this idea and this psychology that like life was just miserable. All of a sudden, like I had this idea and this vision. This is how I vision God. This is how I vision Jesus Christ right now. It's like, I imagine him sitting up in heaven and he's sitting on his zero gravity chair, doing what he's doing, having a good time, hanging out with my grandparents and everybody else cool in my life and the whole thing. And all of a sudden he looks down, he's like, all right, everybody, hey, look, I'm going to throw this at Sean. I'm going to throw him this curveball. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, watch this, pay attention, right? That's kind of how I envision it. I envision that at the end of the day, when I go meet my maker, it's not going to be you and it's not going to be 50 other people there to judge me. It's going to be me and him. And I envision him wrapping his arms around me being like, bro, that was crazy. And I'm going to look at him and be like, that was a damn roller coaster, but that was freaking epic. That's how I envision God. That's how I envision Christ. And my spirituality over the last 2 years has just gone off the hooks because I quit judging myself. I quit judging religion. I quit judging people. If you don't want to drink and smoke, don't drink and smoke. If you don't want to do this, cool. Gay marriage, cool, whatever. Like, I'm here to commune with the Almighty for myself. I quit judging people. And that's my core primary spiritual foundational belief. Stop judging people. Just don't be an asshole. So good question, dude. We could go off for hours about this, but that was a great question. Shelly Hunt, I like your message. I hate that this world we live in. I hate this world that we live in. Thank you for sharing your words of caring and thoughtfulness. I pulled this question out. It's really not a question, but I wanted to ask you a question, Shelly. Why do you hate the world we live in? Like, why do you truly hate the world we live in? I mean, look at this. I got dogs. Yeah, they drive me insane, but they're freaking amazing little creatures running around and they're like, they love me 24/7. You look at the world. I mean, look at the mountains, the sunshine, the beauty that we have. You're alive. You have eyes to see and ears to hear. You have fingers that work. There's so many people that don't have these things. And you hate the world we live in? My question for you is, why do you hate the world we live in? I don't. I used to. I used to think that the world was out to get me and it was this great conspiracy theory. But the reality is, like, we are living in the greatest, grandest time that this universe has ever known. There will be a tomorrow. There was a yesterday. But right now, as I sit here talking to you guys in front of my fireplace and with my dogs running around and the beautiful sun shining, and I mean, it's perfect. The world we have is perfect. And the real question is why do you hate it? So that's that. Answer your question or statement with a question. Okay. Dennis Johnson, what motivates you to do what you do? I kind of follows up what I just said, bro. I love life. I love experience. I love people. I love doing different things. I love experiencing like everything there is to experience. Jumping out of airplanes, doing this, building business, like just what motivates me. I love life. I love who I am. I love where I'm at. I didn't for a lot of years. And I realized the polar opposites between the two. And that's what motivates me, is my kids motivate me. Seeing them happy, seeing them experience life motivates me, makes me happy. So good question. Leslie Ternovsky, Why can so many of us agree and feel like you do, me, but fail to find the vehicle to have our voices heard as one serious voice to be addressed? Why do so many of us agree to hang on, let me say this again. I'm trying to read what you wrote, and it's not grammatically correct. We're not here to talk about that. Why can so many of us agree and feel the way that you do, me, but fail to find the vehicle to have our voices heard? Here's why. Because nobody's been able to be clear. What's the message? This is why I'm in politics. This is why I'm getting, you guys are going to see over the next 6 months what I'm planning on doing in politics. Because here's the deal. It's all this convoluted message. You turn on CNN and Fox, the market's up, the market's down. Well, shit, which one is it? Is it up or is it down? He said this, but then he said that. Well, which is it? Like, there's no congruency with a message. You know what I mean? Like, people truthfully, at the end of the day, like all of you, this is the reason I feel like my messages have gone so viral and a lot of people like them and communicate with me on them, is because they resonate with them. It makes sense. But at the end of the day, the reality is like, where's the platform to put it out there to make common sense common sense? Now, what I say might not be common sense to some people, might be totally stupid. But the reality of the situation is that I feel like you can do two things. You can be a lighthouse or you can be a tugboat. And a good mentor and a good friend of mine, Jesse, taught me this principle. And he's like, Sean, a tugboat, both of them do the same thing. They both save boats. And they both go out and they find wandering boats, and they find lost boats, and they find boats that are headed for destruction. And they both save boats. But here's the deal. As a tugboat, you can go out and try and save one person and be hard trying to just get that one deal. Or you can stand fast and shine your light and save more boats that way. And that's kind of how I envision what I'm going to do with politics, is be a lighthouse versus a tugboat. So that's my thought on why, is because no one's able to truly be able to stand up and deliver a clear message that's concise, that makes sense for everyone across the board. So that's why. Luis Mendoza, who is or was your mentor, and how can we be directly mentored by you? Good question, dude. I've had a couple different mentors. I didn't believe in coaching. I did not believe in personal coaching. I didn't believe in mentors because I was arrogant and I was prideful. And at the end of the day, all these coaches and mentors were like, yeah, it's a couple thousand a month to coach with me, or it's 20,000, or it's 50,000, or whatever. And I'm like, I was a millionaire by 26. Like, what the hell are you going to teach me? You know what I mean? And then I realized that they could teach me a hell of a lot more than what I already know. Case in point, like with real estate, why do people pay me to teach them real estate? Because you've read all the books, right? You've seen all the DVDs, you watched all the late night infomercials, been there, done that. You've been to the seminars, but yet you're still not flipping any real estate. Why? That's why people pay me. Is it's like, Sean, I want to actually do a deal. I want to actually like get in the market and know and learn and actually be active and do it. So that's why people pay me to do it. So I hired a mentor named Garrett about 2.5 years ago and changed my life. I got together with a group of guys that was extraordinarily powerful and completely helped me level up. And I've worked with other different mentors and paid a lot of money to a lot of different people. But if you wanted to work with me, if you're interested in working with me, Lewis, send me a message. I can share info with you over the next 30 days. This is part of what else I'll be rolling out is more clear, concise messaging on that, and how you can get involved with the real estate stuff that I'm doing, with the coaching stuff, with starting to do some live events where people can fly in and we get together for a weekend and stuff like that. So send me a message if you're interested in that, Lewis. Lisa Hollowell, my question to you, Sean Whalen, is when are you coming to the UK to speak or preach your wise words? I don't know. I'm contemplating a couple different deals over there. I'm working with a couple different people, but at some point in time I will, and everyone will know about it. I'll put it out there for everybody to see, and all my UK friends. I've got a ton of UK friends, which is really, really cool. A lot of followers from the UK. That'll happen soon. I suspect it'll probably happen this year for sure, but we'll keep you posted. Anthony Williams, here's my question. We've only got 4 more questions. Here's my question to you. Do you like the direction the country is going economically and socially? No. I mean, whether I like it or not really doesn't matter. It's really not the point. Do I agree with it? No. Do I see it being the most efficient and effective way for us to utilize our time? No. We're so consumed. Our entire society is consumed with everyone else. Like, this is the reason if you stop and think about it, some of the highest paid people on this planet are entertainers. Why? Why? We all joke about Kim Kardashian and this and that and the other. Meanwhile, she's making millions. Millions. Why? Because we're so consumed with everybody else. We're so consumed with what everybody else is doing instead of being consumed with what we're doing and how we can make change, not only in our life, but in the world that we live in. And so do I like the direction? Do I agree with what's going on? No. I believe that the government needs to be a hell of a lot smaller than it is. What that means, like, what does that mean? You hear that, but it means stop spending so much damn money on shit that we don't need. Plain and simple. Done and done. We don't need it. I mean, we just absolutely don't need it. We have tens of thousands of employees for like the IRS and for all of these other things I mean, you've seen the debacle with the IRS. We can't even find our email. You got a government entity that can't find emails, that just conveniently loses emails and all this other stuff. Do I like the direction that we're heading? Hell no. We need smaller government. We need less oversight versus more oversight. We need to do, and what I say we need to do, what I mean is that we need to actually have less so that you can do more on your own. Now, does that sound like it's a burden? Does that sound like freedom? To me, that sounds like freedom. That's what I envision. That's kind of my ideas behind politics, what I'm planning on doing, through my political aspirations. We don't need to spend the money that we're spending, plain and simple. We don't need to have a lot of the government agencies that we have, plain and simple, done and done. So I don't like the direction that it's going. I don't agree with it. And again, I don't hate Barack Obama for him being African-American or this, that, and the other. It's not a race thing. It's just a common sense thing to me. It's common sense that the shit that he's doing doesn't work. It's not good for us. It's not good for my kids. It's not good for me, period. That stuff's got to change. So we've got to give more power to the people than having the government have all the power. So that's my thought on that. David Yannick, swearing. This is an interesting one. I should have started with this one, bro, so I could answer your question first. Many Christians are against cussing. However, you swear all the time in your videos. Babe, do I swear all the time in my videos? Katie says that I do. Why do you see swearing as acceptable when many other with similar beliefs to you do not? I don't walk on water, bro. Plain and simple. Why do I swear? I don't know. Why do I say the words that I say? Because I want to. Plain and simple. Why do you not say them? Because you want to. To me, it's not a God told me to do this or God didn't tell me to do that. That's just how I am. It's what I do. You know what I mean? So this is, in my opinion, part of the problem with religion is what's good for you and this, that, and the other. I mean, homosexuality, case in point. The Bible says homosexuality is a sin. Cool, great. I don't agree or disagree. It says it right here in the Bible. It's a sin. All right, fine. What does gay marriage have to do with me? Nothing. So why would I be against and why would I be fighting against gay marriage? Doesn't have anything to do with me. But Sean, that Jesus said in the Bible, did it. Cool. These two men, these two women are going to go do what they want to do, and I'm okay with that. And here's the cool part. If you don't like swearing, guess what's awesome about it? You just don't have to listen to me. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of agency. Is I get to do what I want to do, and I feel right with my creator. You get to do what you get to do and feel right with your creator, and I don't judge. Matthew chapter 7, pull the beam out of your own eye before you pull it out of somebody else's. And I'm not saying that to you, David. I know that you're not judging me. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I don't really care either way. But I just quit judging people, and I realized like I could come after people for being homosexuals or being this or being that or swearing or breaking the Sabbath and watching football on Sundays or whatever, based off of whatever spiritual or religious belief is. Matthew chapter 7. I pulled the beam out of my own eye because chances are I'm doing a hell of a lot of shit that I shouldn't be doing. So before I judge somebody else, that's what I do. So swearing, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Okay. Frederick Holmes, do you really think our voting system works at all levels or is just in place to give us a sense of choice, even if it may be predetermined? Here's the thing that's interesting about that, dude. And again, every single one of these questions I could go off forever on. Okay. I said this was going to be like 30 minutes. I'm going to keep it under 60. I like to talk, right? Katie's laughing at me, right? Here's the deal. Let me just paint. I'll respond to your question with a fact, a comment. 44%, I believe it was 44 or 42% of the popular vote had not been counted when Barack Obama was declared the winner in the last election. Think about that. 4 out of 10 votes, just call it 40% of votes had not been counted, and they're like, he's got it in the bag, he's the next president. There were people still in line to vote when he was declared the winner. Polls hadn't even closed. Do I think it's fair? Nope. Do I want to make change to it? Yep. I'll give you a little insight. I'm not going to share everything with you. I'm not going to roll it all out, but I'll tell you how it's going to change. The Electoral College. I get why we set it up the way that we did, and I get that, you know, big states, little states, lots of population, little population. I get all of that. But the Electoral College is broken, completely broken. When you can have 40% of the people, I mean, technically speaking, George Bush lost the popular vote, but became president. That's jacked up, in my eyes, in my opinion. But Sean, the big state, California and Montana, and they're just off and this and that and whatever. Cool. I would love to see a popular vote system. And I feel like if we eliminated the Electoral College and we put a popular vote system together, I mean, that's a true political campaign. That's not, well, this state, I only have to campaign in these many states. I only have to campaign here. Nobody campaigns in Utah because they know all the electoral votes are freaking, this is like the most conservative place ever where I live. They all know we're going to vote Republican. Everybody here votes Republican. You don't have to come campaign here. But here's what's interesting. Like, what if you knew that the state was divided and you had like a huge amount of Democratic votes, Libertarian votes, Tea Party votes, whatever, out of the state, and you knew that you could get 100, 200, 500 million votes out of the state? What if you had to come campaign here? That's what I want to see. That's old school politics. That's real politics. That's not bullshit politics. Here's what's cool. You can't buy the president. You eliminate the Electoral College and you go to a popular vote, you can't buy the presidency. Why? Because every vote actually counts and every vote matters. Again, this is a totally another conversation, something that I'm working on, something I'm super passionate about. Just so you know, I'm insanely passionate about the Electoral College and what's going on with the Electoral College and how we can change that, something that I intend to do through politics. But that's my thought process. Is it fair? Hell no. Let's be serious. Just, yeah, we can go off forever, but is it fair? Is it whatever? No, not at all. Okay. Last question. Last one. Scott Askew. Sean, what's the #1 book or experience that provided you a paradigm shift or caused you to wipe the slate clean and challenge everything you've ever known? Dude, brilliant question. And I promise that wasn't like saved for the last, but it's a great question. What's the #1 book or experience that provided you with a paradigm shift? The #1 experience for me is life. Like, what helped shift my paradigm about money was going bankrupt, was having millions of dollars, 4 cars, 4 houses, and then filing bankruptcy. What shifted my paradigm on relationships and on love and on whatever was burning a 10-year marriage to the ground, was going through a divorce. What shifted my paradigm on business was having had a very successful business and then ultimately walking away from a very successful business and rebuilding a successful business. I'll tell you 2 books, like one book that absolutely changed my, it's like my Bible. It's The Way of the Superior Man by David Dita. The Way of the Superior Man by David Dita. When I'm president, I shouldn't say this because this is going to be recorded. Somebody's recording this and they're going to use this against me sometime. I got you, you sneaky bastards. However, I will say that I believe that every man should read that book. The Way of the Superior Man by David Dita completely changed the game for me, in particular with how I showed up to relationships, not only with my girl, but with people, with the world, how I was showing up as the victim, as like everything's happening to me versus me creating. And then another book that I'm reading right now, which is like blowing my mind, is The Dark Side of the Light Chasers by, Ford. What's her name? Debbie Ford. The Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ford. That's everybody. Everybody should read that. Guys, girls, everybody needs to read that. Mind-bending book in the sense that it allows you to realize that, you are who you are, and that's cool. That's good. So the ADHD and the things and the depression and the this and the that, they all serve a purpose for you, but they're not bad the way that you think that they're bad, or the way that the society tells you that it's bad. So anyways, that's the last question. My friends, I know that there were some other questions. As you can tell, I went way over the minutes, and this is like where I'm going to have to figure this shit out to make it quick and efficient and talk less, which I don't know if that's possible. But thank you so much for all of your questions. I appreciate it. It's a little insight into kind of the show that I want to put together, and asking questions and just getting rapid fire answers. I know that these aren't too rapid fire, but we're going to do it next time. Keep it more rapid fire. So my friends, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this and experiencing this with me. And thank you for all of your insight. I would love it. I would be tremendously grateful if you would go on and just leave some comments for me. Like, what did you like? What do you not like? What should we do next time? How should we make this bigger, better, faster, stronger, and cooler? So my friends, thank you again. Make it an amazing and epic day. God bless America.